Hey everybody, welcome to the show. You know where you are, the 9 at 9 with me, Tigo. And if you're watching this live, it's the fourth Monday of May. So that means our good buddy, Chris Naugle, America's number one money mentor, is here. And he's going to talk about the storm that's coming. Now, yeah, it's May. We are not talking about spring showers to bring you, May flowers. We're talking about financial storm. So sit right there. We'll be right back.
Emmett, do you want to play with me? Yeah, I can't play right now. I'm doing show notes.
Yeah, I just watched that commercial and I thought, I got to get my buddy Chris on the cover of show notes. We got to make that happen. But now that we're here, yeah, we're going to talk about the storms. It's the fourth Monday of May and you're going, yeah, it's raining outside. No, I think Chris is talking about financial storm. Am I right, Chris?
Absolutely correct. We're not talking about the snowstorms that hit Buffalo in April. We're talking about the real storm that's on the horizon, the one that people need to really prepare for.
Okay, I don't want to know, but I got to know. Go ahead and tell me.
I know this is the topic that no one likes hearing about. No one wants to even think about, but it is the topic of the impending storm called a recession. And I hope it's just a recession because the way I see it, all the studying and everything I'm tracking on, this could be the next Great Depression. And I know everybody's like, oh, doomsday or no. Listen, I'm here today to spend a little bit of time to tell you why this recession is imminent, why it's going to happen, whether you want it to. But I'm also going to just give you a couple small tidbits of info so you know how to plan for the storm. Because in Buffalo, when we're getting one of those big lake effect storms that dumps 8 feet of snow on us, we're okay because we plan. We're ready for it. Most people don't plan for these kind of storms called recessions because they don't want to. They don't want to believe that it's coming. But I will promise you, without a shadow of doubt, it's coming this time. So let me just focus just on three main things. And that is the federal government, the Fed Reserve. Okay. The government and the Fed Reserve are doing a couple things that you all need to know about. And they're things that telltale signs will tell you that there's a recession coming. First off, we know there's an inflation problem. We talked about that already. But because of inflation, the Fed's raising interest rates 7 times 2022. That will stall the economy. That will slow down the markets. And I think the Fed is doing that because they know the same thing I'm telling you, there's a recession coming. Because if the Fed doesn't get interest rates up, they don't have a lever to pull when that event happens to stimulate the economy. But whether you think that's true or not, and there's no real historical background that proves that raising interest rates leads to a recession, the next thing the Fed said they're going to do certainly has a longstanding history of proving that it will be a recession. And that is the Fed saying they're going to unwind the balance sheet. So when the Fed printed $5 trillion and they traded it with the U.S. government for bonds, those bonds sit on the balance sheet of the Fed. The Fed just announced that they're going to sell $95 billion every month of those bonds on their balance sheet in the open market. Now, Tigo, did you ever see the movie?
Can they do that?
They can, and they're going to, and it's starting in May. So whether they can or can't, they've done it in history. Now, let's talk about history real quick. Every time the Fed has done this since the Fed's existence of 1913, because they've done it a few other times, every single time except for one has led to a recession. Every time. So you might sit there and say, well, the Fed could pull it off this time and nail a soft landing. I'd say there's a 0% chance because the other times they did this, they didn't have this many bonds on their balance sheet. They had 4.5 million. Now they have 9 trillion. Now they have 9 trillion. But here's the other interesting thing about this. You ever see the movie Spaceballs?
Yeah.
Right. You remember the part where Helmet and his ship roll up to that thing that was Earth, but it didn't look like, they didn't call it Earth. And the ship turned into a maid, hooked the vacuum cleaner up to that planet and sucked all the air out. Do you remember that part?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
So that visual is exactly what I want you to think. Helmet in the ship is the Fed. The vacuum cleaner is what they're about to do to the financial markets when they start selling $95 billion a month. That is literally sucking all the money that they just printed back out, to the tune, out of the $5 trillion they printed, they're essentially going to suck out, if they continue as planned, $3 trillion of the $5 trillion. What's that going to do to the markets? Well, history proves it will crash them. It will sink them. And I think that's by design. Let me talk about one other thing that nobody really ever talks about. There's an event that just happened 2 weeks ago that tells you undoubtedly that the recession is coming. And that was when the treasury bond yields inverted. Some of you heard about it. You're like, I don't know what that means. Well, it means that you get paid less money for owning long-term 30-year bonds than you do for owning 5-year bonds. So you could buy a 5-year bond and get paid more than you could for owning a 30. Now that doesn't matter to you, but here, let me tell you, the 5 and the 30 inverted and the 2 and the 10 inverted. I don't care if you understand that or you don't, but every time that's happened in history, except for one, it has led to a deep recession. So if all these things line up along with the debt cycles, which Ray Dalio talks about a lot, coming to the end, you are absolutely certain that something, a storm, is coming inside the next year or two. Now, we can't predict the markets. You can't time the markets, but we know that it's coming. So here's what you need to do. Everybody right now.
My next question.
I got to get this out. Everybody's rushing into the markets because it feels good. When the markets are going up, everybody wants to rush in. You should be doing the opposite. Follow Warren Buffett's crude, simple warnings and rules of investing. Buy low and sell high. We're at the high point. Even, oh no, high point was a couple months ago. It doesn't matter. You're at the highest point. Get out of risky assets and move to safe assets. Secondarily, be patient. Stop being in a rush. Stop thinking you got to get rich today. Building wealth is a marathon. Third, find a safe place to store your capital. There's a couple things, and I don't have time to get into them, but right now, treasury bonds would be a great place to start parking money. Long-term, 20-plus year treasury bonds. You don't have to hold them long, but here's the reason. The price of them are going down as interest rates go up. We know rates are going up, price of the bonds going down. Makes for a great buying opportunity. When this event happens, when the recession actually kicks in and the markets crash, mark my words, the Fed will pull the lever they pull every time and they will drop interest rates. When they drop interest rates, the bonds that you bought when they were going down will skyrocket up because bonds have an inverse relationship to interest rates. So interest rates today go up so you can buy bonds cheaper. When interest rates go down because the market goes down, your bond price goes up. I just gave you a way to literally make a risk-free profit on this impending storm coming. And the other thing, then the most important thing, if you want to protect yourself against what's happening, find assets that are absolutely not correlated to the markets, or find places to put your money where your money can earn a guaranteed return. And I'll tell you all something you don't want to hear, but this is the place the wealthy put their money in the banks, specially designed and engineered whole life insurance policies, because they get a guaranteed return. You know this topic, guaranteed return. They get dividends, and that money is immediately accessible. Now, this isn't regular whole life. This is specially designed whole life. We don't have time to go into it, but make sure you look into it. And I'll give you a link where you can check it out. But that is absolutely where the wealthy are piling tons of money right now, getting ready for the storm, while everybody else is rushing off the edge of the cliff because they're following the leader. And the leader doesn't know where he's going, folks. He's just listening to the news and chasing FOMO, and it's a trap.
So for somebody who's out there right now and they're, knocking on retirement, they've been putting money away, they're ready to go and just get out of their, next 5-10 years. They're planning on kicking their feet up and going fishing. And they're hearing crypto. They're hearing go here, go there, jump in this, jump in that. Would you tell them to hold on, just kind of hold on and make a better, smarter choice?
I would tell them to pump the brakes, stop chasing these assets. I mean, crypto, listen, I think crypto will be a good long-term asset, but it's trending the markets. It's correlated to the market. When the stock market goes, crypto goes every time. Don't ride the roller coaster down. If you think you're going to retire in the next few years or anytime soon, it's not going to happen if you're invested in the markets, because you won't recover. And history proves that too. 2008, the Great Recession. I was a financial advisor at that time. I watched what happened when people went off that cliff. And unfortunately, I didn't know what I know today, so I went off it too. It doesn't feel good. But so many people have forgotten what happens when a recession hits, because it's been the longest bull market run in history. So everybody thinks that it can go up and up and up, and it never goes down. But when it does go down, you're not retiring. I promise you that much.
All right, brother. Well, we got like a minute left. Alan's going to cut us off. So let's tell everybody how they find out more. How do they get their umbrella to save them in this storm that's coming? How do they get in touch with you?
Well, I got good news. So you just go to my website, chrisnaugle.com. There's a 90-minute video that teaches you all about the infinite banking concept, and go to YouTube because I've got tons of videos that go deeper into why a recession's coming and exactly step by step how to prepare for the storm. And it doesn't matter where your money's at or how much you have or how little you have. YouTube's videos at the Chris Naugle will teach you and show you exactly the steps to take.
I thank you so much for being on. I really am nervous about what we're going to talk about next month. And I think you're the best at what you do, and that's why you're number one. Thanks for hanging out with us today.
Thank you.
Awesome. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Go check out Chris. I wouldn't have him here if I didn't believe in what he was saying. chrisnaugle.com. And if you're driving, don't send me a text message, especially my cousins. Go to tigodirect.com, type in Chris. Get in touch with them. You know how this goes. I appreciate you. I'll be here next time. I hope you will too. I'm Tigo. I'll talk to you next time.